I just got to play it cool. Got to play it cool. Hey, Aaron. G'day, Aaron. Andy. Hey, Finchy. Can I call him Finchy? No, I'll ask him. No. G'day, Aaron. Andy. Okay. I'm such a cricket nut. Aaron Finch, legendary Australian captain, coming to meet me to show me through the MCG. G'day, Aaron.
How are you?
Andy.
Aaron, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I know who you are.
You going well?
Yeah, really good, yeah.
Welcome to the MCG.
Thanks, mate. Your backyard.
Used to be. Yeah.
Cool. Should we go and have a look at it?
Absolutely.
Do you mind if I call you Finchy?
Call me anything you want.
Okay, cool. Thanks, mate.
Oh, it's a fine shot.
That's a good strike.
There he goes. The ball is into the crowd.
Welcome to the Australian Sports Museum. Thank you. You're very welcome, Aaron.
I'm Andy.
I know you are, Andy. I saw your debut at Twickenham.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was working at Twickenham.
Oh, there you go.
I saw you played too well for my liking.
Yeah, we had a good win that day.
So, this museum isn't really about winners and losers.
It's not really an Aussie thing, is it?
It's not really an Aussie thing. This cap here means more than just an honours cap. That was a cap won by a guy called Daly Messenger, 20th century, about 1905. He was the greatest rugby player on the planet. There was a team of All Blacks, the 05 All Blacks, went to England, and then they went back again as the All Golds a couple of years later as professional rugby league players. They took him along because they wanted to win some games. So they took an Australian on that first New Zealand tour and they smashed it, they dominated.
We generally claim Kiwis, not the other way around.
No, it's a funny one, isn't it?
Yeah.
The word Australasian comes up in early Olympic Games and Con Games. There's a lot of collaboration early on. I mean, now, of course, it's, you're standing together, but I can feel the animosity.
Not one bit.
You know, one thing we don't have is anything from a World Cup winning captain.
From the 2015 or the...
Yeah, which World Cup that he won?
Well, we beat New Zealand both times, so...
Mate.
This is a fixture list for the Melbourne Cricket Club. January 1879. This is the very first time that a New Zealander set foot on the field here at the MCG.
Came across on the ship, eh?
Yep. Women's cricket, these tours have been going back a long time. We had the first women's test on the ground here in the 1930s. This is another fixture list. There's 3 fixtures here against the Maoris, the first New Zealand rugby team to tour overseas, and they're playing 3 games. One of those games at the MCG against Carlton. They actually played Australian rules for that game.
Really?
They did.
How did they go?
They didn't do too well.
No.
I talked about the English rugby team, the British and Irish Lions. Andrew Stoddart was an English cricketer who played great football, rugby football for Blackheath. And this is his cap from the 1888 British and Irish Lions tour, the British flag and the flag of New South Wales. So that's a beautiful thing to have in our collection as well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Nice to finally see the museum, eh?
Absolutely. That's unbelievable.
Great. Let's get you back onto your pathway.
Get out of your office, that's what you're saying.
Pretty much.
Get out. Don't touch anything.
I've never sat this high up at the MCG.
Isn't it? It's amazing, isn't it? Can you imagine that sellout in that final?
Yeah.
Can you remember that? Can you remember that clearly?
I remember it clearly. I remember I was fielding at mid-off when Mitchell Stark bowled the first over, and I knew Brendan McCullum was going to come hard. He was going to come and swing, and I was in the hot zone at mid-off, and I was just praying. I was like, just go straight to me or go to someone else. And when Starkey knocked him over, the roar from the ground, the whole ground was unbelievable. And probably the only other roar that I've heard as loud was when Warney got his 700th wicket here, knocked over Andrew Strauss. And like there was a lot of people in the ground, but as soon as Warney came onto bowl, like everyone cleared the bars and everyone was standing, everyone was in their seats just waiting for it to happen. And then when it happened, it was extraordinary, like the roar of the crowd, and then people just started filtering back into the bars. It was an amazing day. I love coming here and watching footy or cricket. I think it's just a spectacular ground, but like you're a long way up.
It's pretty awesome. Hey, you asked me about the All Blacks and the kind of the long sustained success. It is kind of the same with Australia cricket though. How do you guys manage to be so successful over such a long period of time? What's your secret?
It's a really good question, I think, because we probably play so much now that within a 12-month cycle you can probably go through a little dip, but I think Australia have got an amazing ability to peak at the right time. So in a World Cup, It's not how you start. Like, you can't win it in the first half, but you can lose it. So you try and keep everything as calm as possible and as normal as possible. And I mean, it's hard because you walk out on a World Cup final or a World Cup semi-final and you know it's different. But you want your process and your preparation and your, whether it's physical or mental, to all be as seamless as possible and consistent.
Mate, that's so fascinating you say that. It's so similar to rugby on the bigger stage. You try not to get too excited, but what you really need to do is execute your job better than you ever have before. And if you can do that, then everyone else can do their job, and then you give yourself a chance.
So for you guys, what did that entail? What is, like, leading into a World Cup final, did anything change in your preparation, in your training structure or anything?
I feel like naturally the emotion takes care of itself. It's pretty... Mate, the whole country came to a standstill, you know. But it's back to, like, right, Sunday night writing, what does my week look like? What's the perfect week? What is that plan? And then going through and nailing all those little bits so that when you come to the game, we do a lot of work on mental skills work too, so dealing with pressure and errors and crowd and wind and refs, all that stuff. So we're able to get back to a good point as well. But there is no magic secret, right? And that's what people are looking for in the Australian cricket team or the All Blacks. What's the secret? What's the secret? No, it's working hard. It's consistency.
Consistency is a
doing
key,
the
I
job.
reckon. Yeah, and there's times when you try too hard because you might be out of form slightly, and you overplay that. One person might have written an article about it, and all of a sudden you're in your own head. And then I always found when I was in that situation, I started searching for a result, not the process, and you totally forget the process that you go on. So for me, night before a game would always be write down the bowlers that I'm facing, their strengths, how I can combat their strengths, but how I can dominate them. So there's some guys it might be one line, some guys it might be. So for example, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar from India, he swung the ball both ways. He used to knock me over for fun. So once I started to work out a plan against him, then I slept better, and then I was more prepared. But there's days when there might be something going on and you're tired and you don't do it, and I wouldn't write it down the night before. And then you sort of panic a little bit when you get to the middle, and then you overplay it. But back to, like, searching, I think I'd search for a result because I'd be like, right, I want to get everyone off my back. I haven't scored runs for a few games. I want to get them off my back. I need 100 or I need 50. But that's what you think about rather than, well, when I walk out to the crease...
Were you thinking that way?
At times you do, absolutely. And instead of walking out and going, right, mark centre, go through my normal routine, watch the ball. But there's days when you would just walk out and go, right, I need 100, I need 50. I just need to get off to a flyer.
Back in some form.
Yeah, but then you're back in the sheds 5 minutes later because you forgot about your process and you forgot about the routine that you go through, and you don't watch the ball. You might watch the ball 99% instead of 100%, and you make a dumb decision because you want the result and you want the outcome over, right, stick to the process. You know that this process works, so have faith in that. And it's such an unforgiving game, cricket. Yeah. It's so, like, you make one poor decision. Sometimes you can make a great decision and still be out. Like,
you won the 2015 World Cup, ODI World Cup, 2021 T20 World Cup. Yep. Now you're retired. When you look back, does that give you fulfilment? Do you feel content because of those victories and proud?
Oh, extremely proud. And I think they were so different for a lot of different reasons, but I think having the ability to play for Australia is one thing. Having sustained success for Australia is another, but like, I would give every individual thing back for another World Cup. Like,
really?
That is, and it's easy to say that once you've got a few, or you've got a couple, but it's just one of those things that, like, you never ever forget the feeling of when you won the World Cup. Like, and when we did it here, all the families, everyone's families and friends in the rooms after the game for hours, and you're just sitting around just having fun. Like, that was the thing that I loved about playing, sitting in the rooms, having a few beers with the boys and then families. I think that's one thing that people take for granted. If you enjoy everyone else's success, not just your own, you've played with those guys who kick cans when you win, but they do poorly. There's nothing saps the energy out of a group as quick as that. And if you enjoy other people's success more so than your own, it makes you a happy an athlete too.
Spoken like an Australian captain. Hey, mate, Finchy, thanks so much for your time today. I was actually really nervous about meeting you. I'm just a bit of a cricket nut. Like I love my cricket. Grew up playing it as well. But you're such a humble, bloody
Thank you,
top
mate.
man. So yeah,
Cheers.
thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.